love you.
We're
live.
We are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast and it's hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am a sweaty beast of a man today. It is the warmest day I've ever been, and we are joined by a distant friend. It feels like a moment since we had the frosted tip wilderness, the wild man of Trek join us, Captain. Have you got an initial, or is it just Captain Goodwill?
Michael M.
Captain M. Oh, Captain M. Goodwill.
Captain M. Goodwill. Yes.
Hoctor, everybody.
He's lowered the tone already. Like, say, this is not Friday night, you know. We've got a bit of class here on a Sunday.
Oh, we are very classy here at Nerdy Up North.
So, as Michael disappears off screen, after his very gracious return, shall we say, we have the beautiful, the lovely, the very cool-looking Jessica, who, if you saw her yesterday, she wasn't looking as chilled as she is now.
No.
No. And no.
And I can see a lot of your nerds in the group chat as
Yes.
well. So it was lovely seeing a lot of you people yesterday at SunnyCon, and I hope you were all age appropriate and looked at the right people, because I'm watching all of you weird people out there. And Chris is now a furry. It is a fact.
It's official. It is official. It happened.
I thought
I
you
was
became
there.
a foot model.
No, that
That was Lee.
Oh.
That Lee liked to get his feet out. He just took his shoes off for some reason. I think it was because me and Joe mocked him for wearing Crocs and socks at the same time.
It happened.
Yes.
Oh.
And I have to say as well, Chris is
Yeah.
surprisingly salty. He is one of the saltiest people I've licked in a long time.
He did genuinely lick him, like, he's not making that up.
From chin to forehead, yes.
He did.
Maybe
I knew there was a reason I am
doing
doing
as well. But on that note, Sammy, do you want to get the
Yeah.
disclaimer? Because Goodwill's
I think it might be a good idea.
Yeah.
It might be a good idea.
Because Goodwill's in line with the Graham now.
No, hang on. So everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Discord page, the Facebook, or the comment section where we can have an open discussion. What we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behavior out of nerdism.
Right.
I am being told I'm too high.
You're too high.
Yeah,
My volume is high.
Right. So let's check. So let's do a sound test. Do I sound okay, guys? Or am I too quiet for you little hobos? Nope. No. What about you, Goodwill? Would you speak for us?
I mean, gerbil.
And there's one of the in-jokes already, yes. What about you, Jessica? Would you give us a little tester as well?
Does my volume sound okay? Is this the right pitch?
Yep, you sound very well to me, but I don't know.
Well, apparently I'm getting quiet now. Kelly, make your fucking mind up. What am I?
Kelly,
Right.
get your ass off the volume button.
I've moved my mic closer.
Mhm.
You're just going to have to deal with it. Just telling you.
Goodwill sounds northern. That's what we're going for, yes.
That's right, Terry. I'm just going to do the podcast in this ASMR mode. Continue.
Very well. But yes, and with mine and Sammy's new little bit we've started as well. Do you want to ask us a question, Sammy?
I would love to ask you a question and find out where you're at in the office, Paul.
Well, I've kind of smashed the show, and I'm on season 9, so a lot has happened. it's all. I'm going to be honest. This is the poorest season I've seen. Like even the first season was better than season 9. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A lot of the relationships are a little bit confusing. Like I'm not
Yeah.
enjoying that they're trying to like hint at trouble between Jim and Pam. Like no, they shouldn't mess with that. It's just a lovely, lovely relationship. But I've seen Michael Scott go off with Holly and move off. That was such a nice moment. Like I say, I'm glad he got that. Gabe become a complete psychopath, so that was quite interesting to see.
Gabe kind of is a psychopath. Like, look at like the horror movies and that he watches. Like, there's something not right with Gabe.
And how he's been described as a bony lover as well. That was quite interesting. We've had some interesting cameos. I've forgotten his name now, but he was in like all the weird films, like what was it, The Blacklist and stuff.
Robert California.
Robert California. What's his name now? He was the voice of Ultron in Avengers.
Yeah, James Spader.
James Spader, as one of the weirdest comedy actors I've ever seen in this show. It was just a choice. But
Robert California is brilliant.
Mm-hmm. But yes. I'm hoping to finish it this week. So next week you will get my thoughts on the finale. So I'll tell you what are they coming soon. And just so that you all the Office fans in the chat, we have decided to add it to the list of things we might review soon.
So be on the lookout for more Office talk. Way.
But yeah, so what have you been watching anything of interest lately?
Me? No.
I don't know. I've been on the binge watching. Binge straight through Bridgerton.
All right.
Depressingly so fast. It was fantastic. And then it's what's up and coming. So running through each week now, it's The Boys and House of the Dragon keep me entertained each week.
The Boys is fucking horrific at the moment. Like, not saying bad to watch, it's just wow. I like the deaths and like the subject matter that they are going in. It's just wow.
We haven't started The Boys yet, but clearly I am having to keep up with House of the Dragon. I've got no choice, given that we made that commitment to follow up on season 2. But I lost my mind on the first episode. Not to give anything away because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but holy shit, they went there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me and Jess already have a group chat set up anyway, so we've already getting our feelings out on it. But
so many fucking chats.
Hey, I love this one. It's fucking brilliant. It's just me, Jess, and Lee just talking loads of shit on House of the Dragon. It's great.
Anything with Lee involved, it never ends well. But yes. What about you, Mr. Goodwill? Have you been watching anything interesting other than the show that you talk about on a Monday, on a Friday? Sorry.
I am 2 episodes into Gen V.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and I do not like it.
Oh,
it does get better.
I am a huge fan of The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to watch season 4 because my friend David is in it. But I am really struggling with Gen V because there's certain things like when a show comments on things in society, like, vapid social media attention and influencing and everything like that, it needs to do it in a way where it's not just like, look at this, and this is just how it feels the first 2 episodes, and I'm just like, yeah, you could do it better, and you've done it better in The Boys. This is just like it's like a pound shop version of The Boys at the moment, so I hope it gets better.
Please stick with it. It does. Please stick with this. Because by the end of it, you are invested in these people. I promise you do.
I am.
If you get past the cock episodes, because there's a lot of cock episodes, to be fair.
I was watching episode 1, and I paused it because I needed to do something, and I just forgot to watch it. And a few weeks later, I was like, I'll get back to Gen V. I need to get through Gen V. And I put it on. I was like, I could not remember where I paused it. And I sat down, 50-inch TV, surround sound, put it on, resume, bang, Shaft.
I mean, we're not talking about the 1970s sexploitation movie.
That's one. Bad mother, shut your mouth. This was just like, it was like full on Ultra HD, very Shaft. And I'm like, Yep, that's a penis. And yeah,
I am so putting that on my telly when you come to my house.
I mean, I'll probably be able to see it from the A19 if you do that.
That is true.
Yeah, so other than that, I've been rewatching Futurama because I love Futurama, and rewatching The Expanse because I finished Star Trek Discovery and I was like, okay, I'm in the mood for actual decent, well-written and acted science fiction now. So I went back to The Expanse and I've been binging that. So I love The Expanse. Not many people do, but I love it because it is brilliant and one of the best sci-fis in the last 20 years.
I've never heard of it.
I have heard of it, but it's never crossed my bow, shall we say. I did try and watch, because I know Rick and Morty hit Netflix, and it's a hard watch now. It's like they've lost the spark that they had in the early episodes. But yeah, that
I could never get away with it.
I think Rick and Morty is sort of done.
Done.
Yeah.
The other one they did, Solar Opposites, is quite good. There's some like a different sort of take on things, and it's way. I think it goes way harder than Rick and Morty kind of ever did, making it so much funnier.
I think Solar Opposites is like the Futurama to Rick and Morty's Simpsons.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good for the first few seasons, then it's sort of like petered down, and now Solar Opposites is just like it's just better.
No, definitely. I will give Solar Opposites a watch. I know. I think Donna was texting us about it as well. But the only thing that scares me when Donna tells us to watch something, I know how, because she loves that one with the hormone demon as well. So the hormone Big Mouth, because that was terrible. I'm sorry.
No,
it's hilarious.
Maurice is amazing. Eyebrows.
But you could only go for one season with that. It was harder. The impressions have started already.
I am so lost.
Sorry, Sammy. We'll bring it back to what we have came and joined us tonight. We've all came for the 90s phenomenon. That probably is what I would say is, and I don't know if this would be a controversial thing to say, one of the most quoted movies of all time.
Yeah. I reckon for our generation,
yes, absolutely.
Before we get into it, because I love a tagline. I have the taglines, and I genuinely thought because normally I just get the taglines before I come on, and I was like, oh, I bet there's like loads, and I bet the mint, because obviously like it's Wayne's World. There's two. One of them, one world, one party.
What?
Right.
Yeah. The second one, which is highlighted, don't know why, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to put a twist on this. Do you think they were done because this is a parody of corporate media? So they've done the most generic taglines for this?
Potentially.
Because when I was looking for the artwork and stuff, and I do like the layouts and everything like that, the movie posters and everything that came out for this was so shit. Like literally, it's the same one note. There's no real variety. Or when you think of like all the jokes and all the stuff that comes with this type of movie, like Wayne's World. If you didn't know, that's the movie that we're talking about.
I mean, if you can't tell, if you're watching on YouTube and you can't tell, like...
Party on, girl.
I think we don't know because you haven't got the hat on.
It's downstairs. It's too hot. The hat's not coming on now, sorry. I did wear it earlier and I was like, no, this is not happening, not in this room. I
genuinely thought you were going to have your hat on, and I've got my big frame glasses on, and it's like fucking Wayne and Garth.
To be fair, though, if I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm the Wayne of the pair. I think I'm the Garth, and I think Sammy is the Wayne.
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that after we talk about this and all the deep dives that I've been doing.
Well, I said the Wayne, I didn't say the Mike Myers, because that's a different kettle of fish.
That's okay. I'll take Wayne. I'll take Wayne.
But yes. Only wear the hat. Oh, Jesus Christ. I did threaten I was going to be doing this episode naked because it was hot. It's still a possibility. You never know, guys.
You can leave your
The
hat
hat
on.
Me and Sammy had a little bit of an interesting conversation about this because when we logged on a bit earlier to do a little foreshadowing or planning for the later in the year, I had a different. Well, I thought Wayne's World came about a little bit differently to it actually did. I don't know if it was like a fever dream or if I just imagined it, because I thought Wayne's World had its own individual TV show back in the day.
It did not.
No, it didn't.
It did not. It came from. Well, originally, Wayne's World comes from Second City, which is so. It's the Canadian version of SNL, but Second City is in America as well. They have like branches all over the place, which I didn't know about until recently. And it came from Second City. And when Mike Myers came to SNL, he brought Wayne's World with him, and it was just him by himself, and he was like, "This is never going to go across. I need to find the funniest person in the company right now to join me." And that's when Dana Carvey came on board as Garth. I have done such a deep dive on this movie, so I will be like dropping in little bits as we go along. But it was so interesting, the reasoning, because Dana was huge at the time. Like, Dana is, out of the two of them, is the funniest. I'm just going to put that out there right now. Dana Carvey is one of the funniest comedians that has ever graced television, the stage, whatnot. He is fucking hilarious.
So you're a fan, you're saying then? So that's fine.
Massively. I'm a huge Dana Carvey fan, have been for years. If I ever see a podcast with his name on, I am listening, because he is talking. He talks so many truths and but manages to make it funny at the same time. Like, especially his relationship with Mike Myers.
There is, like,
it wasn't great.
Like I say, with the Garth's character, there's an innocence to him that I think is well portrayed. Like, I know it's like nerd, like humor and stuff like that, but I think he does it so well. But no, the reason why I thought it was like an individual show, because I'm sure back in the day on BBC Two, they didn't have the SNL sketches, but they cut the SNL sketch out and they showed like the Wayne's World segments by itself. I think could have, and I think it was during the time where like things like where TV channels were being a bit controversial or trying to push the boundaries, because like Channel 4 had like Eurotrash, like Ren and Stimpy was coming out for the cartoons.
If anyone's old enough to remember that.
So these type of things were kind of played, but I think it was like not like a half an hour, 25-minute episode. It was like 10-minute sketches between shows, or between like something finishing and a movie starting. But
I think it was I think it was a BBC Two experimentation, because BBC Two was sort of like the test bed for like alternative shows back in the day. Obviously, when we only had five terrestrial channels, so they used to do the SNL skits, because obviously SNL in the 90s would not translate to UK audiences. So what they would do, and Netflix did this quite a lot when they brought, like, they had the SNL back catalogue, and Netflix would, they were like, "We've got SNL," and you're like, "Yeah," and it's like, episode this 28 minutes long, and you're like, "Oh, you've just got the good shit." So they would take the Wayne's World bits and do like Paul said, like they would have like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It's really weird when you look at like how the BBC did this, because it was like late at night sometimes.
Yeah, it was about 11:30, like close to midnight at times.
Because this was like they did this for about 5-6 years, because they were the first people to have How I Met Your Mother when it came out in 2005, and they were like, "New sitcom, How I Met Your Mother," and it was like 11:45 at night for this major US sitcom that no one cared about, and then it only got big when Channel 4 like bought it. But it was very much like the Wayne's World skits, but it was like in between. But it was like BBC, I don't know what they called it, but it was like shorts and stuff like that, where they had those little things, but they never said it was like part of Saturday Night Live or anything like that. Which is
that's why I was always confused, because like when I look back this weekend, I was going, I'm going to see if I can find anything on the old TV show, because to me, I thought it came out as a TV show because of them like core memories I had, and when I look back, I was like, there's no record of it existing. So that's when I was asking Sammy. I was like, Sam, was this real? And she was like, no, it was a SNL sketches. I was like, all right then.
And then I sent him the SNL sketches earlier on today because I sat and watched them all because holy shit. It just, the first 3 alone explains Wayne's World in its entirety. You just need the first 3 episodes. Well, not episode, but you know what I mean? First 3 sketches. And it just explains Wayne's World. But Wayne is a very different Wayne on the sketches to what he is in the movie. And it's a good change. He still has his intellectual outbursts where he starts getting really deep, but he's calm. He looks like he is riding something when he's doing it on SNL. Like, he is so hyper. You can see his hand shaking when he's playing the guitar. He is like shaking, and it's obviously, you know, live audience and such will be a whole different experience to doing it on a movie set. But yeah, I love watching it. Yeah.
It's also the era of Chris Farley at SNL, so there might be other reasons for people shaking so much.
Potentially. We were trying to figure out where Chris Farley fitted into, because he is part of the core group of, you know, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. He wasn't Mike Myers's, like, so he's probably like the beginning of Farley's career, but Farley is in Wayne's World 1 and 2.
He's my all-time favorite from SNL is Chris Farley. It's like so many of them that I still watch on repeat now. I think he was possibly one of the funniest guys to ever appear on it. Like, devastating him going out so early.
If I get sad, I get the Swayze dance in my head straight away. Have to. It's like it's there constantly.
Weird.
For me, it's the Down by the River sketch. Is just like
sorry, Michael. That wasn't good. Sorry, Michael. But yeah. Down by the river. Go on, Michael. What were you going to say?
No, it's just weird because if you think some of the biggest comedies of the 80s and 90s that we treasure all originated from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And you know, like the characters, the actors, all originated from Saturday Night Live, and you know, you have to worry, like you have to wonder, like how little would we have if Saturday Night Live did not exist? You wouldn't have Wayne's World, you wouldn't have Chris Farley, you wouldn't have Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No.
Without Saturday Night Live, and it's telling, like, everyone has their favorite even for British people. Like Saturday Night Live has not been aired in the UK until the last couple of years. But everyone's got their favorite generation of Saturday Night Live because they've just seen it somehow. And for me, it was like, for me, the Saturday Night Live, mine was the 06 to like 2016 era with Adam Sandler and Bill Hader and Keegan Thompson and stuff. And I, to this day, I will sit when I'm at work or something, and I will go through like the Californians and the Barry Gibb talk show and stuff like that. And it's not because like they're well written and funny. It's because when they break character and they just burst out laughing, which Bill Hader does all the time. It's instinctively funny, but like the Barry Gibb talk show is like probably one of my most favorite sketches, where you just go, who'd have thought, like, hey, let's get Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake when sober to act as Barry and Robin Gibb, and it's just, it works. And it's the same for Wayne's World. Like, so many skits have gone from Saturday Night Live to really successful, well, not really successful, but like successful or cult favorite movies. And you have to get, like it or not, you have to give Saturday Night Live its props for that, because we would not have half the movies we have.
No,
that we without it.
I think we mentioned this last week or the week before. We wouldn't have Adam Sandler as we have Adam Sandler today if he hadn't gotten fired from SNL, because we wouldn't have his breakout movie. So it kind of like all works out. But I didn't realize until today that Lorne Michaels, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, but Lorne Michaels is the producer on this movie. And I never, 2 and 2 just never came to my mind. I was like, why is Lorne? Oh yeah, that makes sense now. That's why Lorne Michaels is there.
But I think when we mentioned or said we were going to start talking about Wayne's World, like even like in the Discord, all the like the sound bites and all the people like if like just start getting like say going back to reminiscent, because the scenes in this movie that like for a comedy is cinema iconic cinema classics, like the opening when they're in the car, like literally it's like for a song as big as Bohemian Rhapsody, it took it to a new level. And
do you know the song they originally wanted?
No, go.
Wasn't it Sweet Guns N' Roses or something?
Guns N' Roses.
Welcome to the jungle.
Well, this is where Mike Myers threw his doll out of his pram because they didn't want to use Bohemian Rhapsody
right
at all. And he said, "I will walk off this set right now if that song is not used." And I didn't know this until I watched the reunion today. That the way they got the rights to it is by sending the test footage to Queen, and Queen then give the A-OK for it to be used, and the rest is all history. But what Brian May told Mike Myers, and you could see this really affected him, is that Freddie Mercury watched the test footage.
I've actually got goosebumps of that. Sorry.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury actually, and he died not long afterwards. Brian May said he was very weak, but he knew what was going on. He was very happy because at this point, Queen had actually lost America.
Yeah.
Their American audience weren't really that interested. And Freddie was like, we've got them back. We've got them back because of this film. And he was so grateful for it. And you could see Mike Myers, he was like, I didn't know that. I knew you had watched it, but I didn't know that he saw it. And he was like, oh, he saw it. And he absolutely loved it. And you could, I think if the ground could have swallowed Mike Myers, he would have allowed it to happen just to be out of that moment, because he didn't look like he was going to handle it very well. Like, he looked like he was going to break.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first incident of Mike Myers throwing his doll out of his pram. But he, for all good reasons, because that is one of the most iconic bits of footage. And it's not just in this film, anything to do with music.
Yeah, but even like
go back to this moment,
any type of road trip as well. Like if you think about like this, when we go away with your friends, or even driving to Newcastle, like there's more than a few of us in the car at the same time. We'll harp back and like it just, even if the song's not on, we'll just all start headbanging like just for the crack, because it's such like it's a pop culture iconic moment that like say that this movie give us, and it's one of the things I think is probably the most special parts of this movie, and this is just the only start. This is like the kicking off point, and then the intercut as well with when they pick up the mate who's like all partied out.
He's just sat in the middle. He's just like,
but they play that out so well and so funny, because you think when he's screaming, you think, oh, he's got to be sick. He's wanting to get out, but then you realise he's just joining in the fun, and it just harps onto like the imagery. Then we get our first cameo pretty soon after that.
Well, the Bohemian Rhapsody bit, of the iconicism of it. I used to work at a rock club like years ago, and that was the staple song to basically tell everyone like, you need to leave after this song. Like, what was
ours? Was ours Jumping the Line? Was it from Beetlejuice? When that used to come on in Chambers, that was time to go home.
Oh, I can't remember.
That was a long,
I used to
time
remember
ago.
everyone would stand and wait for the moment. So like the entire room was just everybody doing the wait until like headbang of like just being like universal thing. As soon as you hear that song, you have to do it.
Well, we all think it's iconic.
Well. Sorry.
In the what? In the crowd?
No, there was a bar in Middlesbrough called The Crown, and they had a rock night every Thursday, and I think that was the last song.
It wasn't the Crown I worked at; it was a different one. I'll say after this which one it was.
Oh, has Jess worked in some dodgy pubs actually? Then?
Okay,
it's all right.
I like when Jess says that.
The Crown doesn't exist anymore, but yeah, it was that, and yeah, as soon as it got to the guitar headbanging scene, everyone it was just
lost their minds.
Violent, yeah, for Queen as well.
Well, we all love that scene. The whole world finds that one of the most iconic scenes in history, but there's one person who fucking hates it. Dana Carvey absolutely hated that scene, hated recording it, because in his head, he had the original song that they were going to play in his head, and he kept mixing the words up.
Right.
So when you see him when you see the camera on him, he's not really singing the words that he's meant to be singing. And as a perfectionist that he is, he absolutely hates that scene. So we love it
because it makes it funnier.
Yeah,
more so like when it gets to the softer notes after they've done the headbanging, you could like the joke that no one in the car knows anything else past that point in the song. It makes it funnier.
I love it. But who's the first cameo? Is it Ed Harris?
Meatloaf.
Ed O'Neill?
It's Meatloaf, isn't it?
Meatloaf is the first one because they're going to the steelworks. No,
the gasworks.
No, it's not. It's
they go to the diner first.
Oh shit! Yes, because they need him to. Yeah.
Why is it if a man kills another man in battle, he's called heroic? Yet if he kills a man in the heat of passion,
it's
called murder.
Oh, I absolutely love Ed O'Neill's lines. It's in the second one where he just goes, "Why did they come to me to die? Why did they come to me to die?" I love that. I've been saying that to Anth all day. He's been fucking sick. I love Ed O'Neill in these movies. But again, another fun fact. Them lines were written literally just before they recorded it. So Ed O'Neill had no idea what he was saying.
He was just reading out. This is because there's two things that this movie was my first experience of: breaking the fourth wall, where they were actually talking to the camera and actually it was almost like they're in on the joke as well. And also this is kind of kickstarting the whole YouTube and podcasting type situation where Wayne's World started at first on public access TV. So basically what we are doing now today is kind of inspired back from back then in the 1992 in Wayne's World. So
I was going to ask you all this. Do you think it's Nerdy Up North the movie?
I mean, I have been tempted sometimes to kind of say bring up that this is a movie and that we're just all it's all fake.
Where's Rob Lowe? Damn it!
Oh my God, Rob Lowe! Wow.
Where's fucking Cassandra? That's what I want to know.
That woman. She is enough to make me turn. Oh my goodness, she is beautiful in this film.
Yes. It's just far too good for Wayne, let's be honest.
No, they complement each other so well. And
to be fair, though, I still don't understand how he pulled it, because the first thing he says to her is the most offensive thing he could ever say to a person, ever. It's oh, have you been kung fu fighting? I was all right then. Go with the racial stereotyping already.
The thing is, though, she's Hawaiian.
Yeah.
She's not...
Yeah.
And she sang every single one of them vocals. That is her voice. She's a singer.
Right.
So when the opportunity came up, she was like, yeah, I want to do it. And that is her voice, her screams. She gives me goosebumps every time I hear Ballroom Blitz by her. I love it.
The Ballroom Blitz was a brilliant song. I love that version. And I know we've already touched on it with Bohemian Rhapsody. The music and the tone for this film, everything pitch perfect. Kind of you go on that journey. If you're a 90s kid like us, or if you're younger like Jess, bless her, to experience.
I was one when this movie came out.
Shut up.
It's 1 year old.
Stop. Make it stop.
Oh, Goodall's going to bring back something that he's got younger, so it's fine.
Oh God! Oh, my pop just went up my nose. Oh,
I'm glad that went better than I thought it would have.
Good job, he's got a sense of humour.
Sorry, so we'll just see the door flying open and go, "You what?"
Right. Moving on.
Exit stage left. But yes.
Oh, hey.
So there's something super nerdy. I'm going to get into this about this. So I'll make sure I say her name right. Penelope Spheris, I think it is.
Yeah.
So she is literally the queen of the rock and punk and metal scene of its time. I don't know if anyone's ever watched the films The Decline of Western Civilization.
Me.
They were her like.
Yeah. Oh, I know all. I know all about her.
And this is why the film fits so well for that that era and getting everything right. There's no flubbing in like what bands should be there or what the clubs look like, because this woman lived and breathed it. I'm kind of good because I read a lot into it, so she didn't get treated very well doing this movie.
She did not know. Her and Mike Myers had, because this is Mike Myers' first ever movie. You've got to take that into account. And he acted like this was his 100th because he was telling her what to do, how to do it, how things were meant to be, and she had to put on her big girl pants quite a few times and knock him down into size. And that did not go down very well, to the point where she has, which I found very surprising, she was on the reunion that they did a couple of years ago, and I was really shocked because them two do not have a good working relationship. She was not asked back for the second one. She was actually blocked from doing the second one. He treated her so badly, to the point where if you go back and read interviews prior to 2019, she slates this experience. Not good. And this was her life. This was her life and her livelihood as well. Like, this is what she's famous for.
It is. She was responsible for essentially start like kind of kicking off the metal bands and stuff, getting proper full-blown music videos and everything through her production company. And it's such a shame because she's not really mentioned much in regards to this movie, considering the iconicism of who she is. Like, this movie would never have been as good if it hadn't been in her hands, knowing the scene so well. What I found funny about watching the reunion, they were recreating scenes from the movie, and every person who did one all went, Penny, not that. I keep thinking it's Penny Marshall. It's not. It's bloody, what's her face? They kept asking her can you say action, please? And it's like they were almost like purposely doing it because he went on ridiculous. There's one story of him flipping a crafts table over because they had margarine instead of butter. Jeez. And this is his first movie. However, I'll get this out of the way with now. Mike I'm not excusing his behavior in any shape or form, but there is a potential reason as to why he was the way he was. His dad was incredibly sick during the making of this movie, and his dad died at the end of it.
Right.
And he was going through he was torn between two places.
Yeah.
And he obviously all of that was taken out probably on the wrong people.
Yeah.
Now, in between Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2, he goes on and even took it out on Dana Carvey. Like, him and Dana, they had a huge falling out. And he, during the first and second, and he went on this like spiritual awakening, spiritual retreat.
Was it the Love Guru by any chance?
No, it's Wayne's World 2.
I know, I'm just getting the nobody saw the Love Guru, don't worry.
No, I did not. There's a reason. But no, he goes from Wayne's World 1 to Wayne's World 2, and in between that is a spiritual journey, and this is the reason you have the likes of Del Preston in the second one, is because he is the spiritual opening to like moving forward, and the dreams that he was having as well. It's kind of like explaining like, I'm in a better place now. I'm doing okay. I didn't do well the first time, but I'm doing all right now. So, and not that I'm excusing his behavior in the slightest, but he did have a lot going on in the background. And he said in interviews that there's half of this movie he can't even remember filming. Yeah. And it's not because he was doing anything that he shouldn't have been. It's just his head wasn't in it.
Yeah, it is a shame because there is like all the performances in this movie is strong. Like, there's not a bad element anything that when you're watching it you think, like not saying you're looking for a weak spot, and especially for the 90s like type of movie it is, where it's just pure comedy and it's just class. Even Rob Lowe is just like creepy and slimy as Rob Lowe can only be.
It's just Rob Lowe. It is no difference.
But the whole like elements, like I absolutely loved like the ex-girlfriend Stacey. I thought she was fucking her. I
Laura
probably didn't
from
like her as
Boyle.
much when I was younger watching it, but watching it back now, I found it was absolutely hilarious. And again, not saying that like to get a disclaimer or anything like that. I know when you look back at this movie, it was very much of its time how people viewed and make jokes at women's expenses and how it was kind of looked at. And I'm not saying that should like you should go back and say, oh, don't watch Wayne's World because it looks at women in a different light or a different way. No, it was very much of its time, and it does poke fun at it. But again, it's to take it a little bit like the sensibility. Like I don't think it was meant to be offensive as it probably would show now, because I don't think if this film came out now, you would get all the like the people come out and saying, oh, it's painting this person or doing this kind of thing, which some cases it can be right, some cases wrong, but I think the tone of this movie is where you have to just kind of laugh at it as well, if that makes sense.
It does, and I don't think, apart from there's some things about the women that kind of like are a bit distasteful, but it's not done in the most derogatory way that you're like, oh, good God, no.
Yeah.
I know Lara Flynn Boyle's only direction was you have to be the person who Wayne would absolutely hate in this world, and that's the direction she went with.
This is one of those, like, Mike Myers had to apologize for it because it is based upon his ex-girlfriend. She did give him a gun, like, shelf.
Gun rack.
Right. So as soon as the movie came out, she watched it with a like then partner and like rang him with just kind of like, I cannot believe the context you put me in. I think particularly it was like I can't remember what they call her. It's something like the psycho hose beast or something like that.
Someone's just said it in the chat.
And she's like, that was what you called it? He's like, I'm sorry. Looking back, so that really wasn't kind of me to do. But no, I don't. As far as movies go, I don't find it that bad for the female context with it. Obviously, yes, you've got the crazy ex-girlfriend. But Tia Korea, there's some lines, but it still plays her in the right way around of doing it, because she is more successful. She's pretty strong-willed in her own way. Maybe like there is the derogatory line from when he accuses her, oh, she must be sleeping with Rob Lowe.
Yeah, I think that's the element where it was almost like he was kind of treating her like his property at times, and it was kind of like
that's still very common practice now, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you are sometimes more successful than your partner, it's things that I have heard be posed to me at certain things. It's like, no, I can just be successful myself.
Yeah.
So I find it accurate. It's not derogatory. It's just accurate. These are things.
That's probably a better way of putting it as well. So no, thank you for like saying it that way, because I know I was trying to put it in a context where I know it's like me being not the female persuasion, even though quite surprisingly it's not. But I was just trying to think of a way or word it the best way I can, and I was struggling. So thank you for that, Jess.
I think it's just they're very fair to her. They don't have even when they've got the bedroom scene, she's actually fully covered up. She's in like kind of a summer dress. It's like they didn't have her there and making her walk around in her underwear.
That's
true. One time that happens, it's in context of how ridiculous this video is.
Yeah.
But to be fair, was that trying to get the ratings as well? Because they probably wanted this for a kids' audience or a family film type thing. So like the sex element isn't really that strong in this movie, even though there's a few jokes or a few one-liners, like the old like when we get towards the end where he's like got the cards up, this man does not have a penis, or
Yep.
Bill Murray's brother.
Yeah, it's Bill Murray's brother. It's the one movie that Bill Murray's not in and his brother is. Like, oh no, I was just about to say another one, but they're both in it together. But that's the gun rack scene is one of the funniest scenes in there. Mike Myers' reaction to that is fucking hilarious.
And
I love her line. It's like, if you don't change Wayne, you're going to lose me. It's like, I already lost you 2 months ago.
Are you mental?
I love the way Mike Myers says mental as well. I love it. Mental. Are you mental? Get the net.
But Goodwill did one of my favourite impressions as well when they go to the like say the drive-through. I don't know, is that Wayne's World 2?
It's Wayne's World 2.
Right, when it goes to the drive-through and he does the whole and then he just like says "fuck you, I've got what the order is meant to be."
That's Ed O'Neill in the background, who's talking to.
I love when it's after they've been to the gasworks and they're driving away and they pull up to that snooty Rolls Royce, and he just like he looks at it, just goes, he's like, "Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?" And I absolutely love that because it's such a stupid niche American thing that no one else gets, and I'm just like, mayonnaise.
I did not know what Grey Poupon was for years.
Yeah. It's like you have to understand it's an advert from the late 80s, and everyone's like, "I get it," and I'm just like, "I don't know." And then I saw the advert, and then I rewatched it, and I was just like, "Haha, it's funny."
Got it.
But that actually gives us a good little inway as well to one of my favourite parts in the movie, the product placement in the adverts, because a lot of the like jokes for these type of movies, especially in the 90s and 80s, where they try to get in as much product placement as possible without having to kind of like spot it, but they do it in such an obvious way where it's hilarious. Where Dwayne's like, I don't want to sell my integrity out and go like plagiarize these advertisements and stuff like that, while he's shoving a Pizza Hut pizza in his face, a Doritos chip
don't
fry.
sell out. We really don't sell out a Nerdy Up.
No, we don't
condone that, but this is so refreshing.
Still looking for an Iron Brew sponsorship, not gonna lie. But I'm not canned out.
My favourite is the Pepsi one though, because it's like it's a choice, and yes, it's a choice of a new generation.
It was the wrong choice. I'm sorry, Pepsi is the wrong choice. Specsavers.
Oh, hold on.
There
we go.
You heard it here first, Specsavers.
You're the eyewear of the nerds. But what about you guys? What is your like favorite points in the movie as well? So I was going to go to Goodwill, but he's just spoiled himself, so I'll go to Jess.
For me, it's when Garth is left on camera alone, and the guy's in the top. It's like, do you ever see that movie Scanners, where the guy's head explodes and he starts doing the weird noise, just freaking out?
It's like, I'm okay. I'm in a good place. I'm happy.
Dana Carvey's eyes, the weird eyes he can do, is so funny. And he does it quite a few times. The moment where he's got the hand, you know, the hand where he's got the hand and he's and he starts bashing it when Benjamin comes over to him. That was Garth's way of being able to kill Benjamin, is through that. He was trying to create something, and then Dana does this like fucking really weird shifty eye movement towards Benjamin when the hand starts to move. Dana Carvey's just, his physical appearance and how he does his comedy is so good.
It was one of those things when I originally saw, I said the marketing campaign, and when the film was going to release, I thought Garth was the main character. I know he's kind of like the sidekick in this, but he always had like the more appealing aesthetics, and he kind of stands out a lot more, especially when he's on scenes when him and Wayne's playing up. Garth is the standout in this movie in so much. I know he's dialed back a little bit in Wayne's World too, but I do think like the Garth elements or the Garth jokes lands more and more with the punch, especially like my favorite bit is where they're going in the concert and they're trying to get to the backstage, and the big guy just picks up Garth and throws him. So he goes out and goes to the boot and goes, "What the fuck's he putting on?" He's putting like a harness with like this kind of like tool belt,
like a utility belt.
Yeah, it's like the bat belt all good. It's like, what the fuck's he going to do with that? Then he kind of like electrocutes the guy and sends him, and then pulls off this cowboy stunt where he's like, and like it's just like so funny and so well done, and it's the facial expressions and the way he sells it is just so perfectly done. And that's me, and that's probably why I like Goodwill as well, because he does similar type of facial expressions, even though he doesn't admit it. He can sell more with his face than he can with his voice at most of the time. Now he's not going to talk.
I would say you are the Garth mind.
What?
Because I've got glasses and blonde hair.
Kinda.
Maybe.
Profiling much.
Maybe.
Yeah, yes. But what about you, Goodall? What stands out for you?
There are two, and they're both Garth. And it's so daft. One of them is the bit with the flashlight,
right?
When they're getting all the stuff from the local network, and he's just like, "Just give me the flashlight, okay?" And then he takes it and he just disarms the flashlight by taking out the D battery. He's like, "We're okay, we're okay."
He's one of us.
He's like, Benjamin's my friend, and he's like, Benjamin's nobody's friend.
But it has to be, and this is why I love Garth, when he's imagining his dream girl in the donut shop, and he just does the Hendrix Foxy lady, and he's just like, I just love. Every time I could be in the car driving to work, and if Hendrix is on, I sit there at the traffic lights and just go.
do you know who the dream lady is?
Do you know what? She reminds me of the woman from CSI Miami for some.
She's not.
It's Dan Aykroyd's
It's
wife.
Dan Aykroyd's wife.
Oh, never mind.
It's Dan Aykroyd's wife.
All these comedians from the 80s and 90s just all incestuous and share like the partners around, saying, "You can have my wife in your movie, it's fine."
Just buy my Skull vodka.
Yes.
Not sure. Up until last year, they separated. They've been married for 40 years, and they separated last year. They're still legally married.
Right.
But yeah, that is Dan Aykroyd's wife.
Her introduction is amazing as well. When Garth's like they're in the donut shop, and Garth sees her, and he kind of like it zooms in like the camera's attacking him, and he gets knocked off the chair, and he just so subtly does. I fell.
I fell.
No, I absolutely hate the Foxy scene.
I love it.
It's because of obviously the surname that I use.
Right.
The amount of times it would come up, and it just makes me cringe every time. As soon as the song comes on, I'm just like, oh.
It's Garth breaking the fourth wall though, but then Garth, like when we were in Tiggy's apartment, and he's like, "Hey, come over here," and he starts going through the stuff, and he's just like reads his diary, and he's just like, buy a local cable show and exploit them. Boy, I feel sorry for those guys. And he just carries on without like realizing.
Rib for her pleasure. Ew.
What did you think of the interaction with Alice Cooper as well?
Oh, I have some fun facts on Alice Cooper as well.
When he just goes into Milwaukee, he's just like,
Milwaukee.
It's actually pronounced Milwaukee. And I'm just like, I love Alice Cooper so much.
Love it. So, Alice came under the impression he was just doing a song.
Right.
Had no idea that when he got landed, he got an 80-page script.
Right.
Because they had him wanting to say more than what he actually did. They played on the fact that he is a history buff.
Right.
And that the Alice you get talking is probably more real to the actual Alice himself. But in the band, at the time of Alice Cooper, Nikki Sixx was his bassist.
Right.
And Nikki Sixx was asked to come along and be in the movie. The backing singer for Alice Cooper was none other than Cassandra Peterson.
All right.
Was Elvira herself. And they were both asked to be in the movie, and for whatever reason, they couldn't make it. But yeah, they had some interesting facts.
Yeah, for both. I think for both of it was just scheduling. They couldn't get either of them across. But it's like just the idea of like, I'm forever gutted of like Elvira could have literally just been in the background of this movie, like.
Just running around. I'll just be one of these women that try to get into the backstage area type thing because access is denied.
No, I think if they'd have put her in, it'd have been true iconic, like Elvira of like her, like more so like how she is in the movie. That tongue-in-cheek humor.
That's not how I pictured her at all. So I read her autobiography, and she describes her look in the 80s. She was white leather through and through, that big red hair and white leather, and that is all I can imagine when I think.
Yeah, let's give me even more.
Big red hair. Yep, white leather. Love it. Leopard print, the works.
Leather and white. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I lost my mind when I read them facts as well today. I was like, because I didn't think anything of the fact that Alice Cooper's in it. Why would he not be in it? It's a movie about that genre of music. And then to have all this, like, oh my God, that's like the most interesting thing of the film is like how they managed to get Alice Cooper to read all these lines.
I'd still forever do it. It doesn't matter what event I'm at. If I get given a pass on a lanyard, I cannot help myself from having to do the whole waving it around.
You should have seen me. It's the horror convention we went to when we got a lanyard. I pinched it off Lee.
Oh God! When we got the lanyard with creators on, Sammy was out of the moon. She was like, "I'm a creator. Look, let me in this area."
Sorry, Michael, you were going to say it.
Do you think we're not worthy, we're scum? Do you think that is like another iconic, like quotable thing that our generation used to do? I used to do it all the time at school. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why, because there was no.
Did anyone put the hand out though?
I love that when he just does it. He's just like that.
To be fair though, nobody in Borough was putting the hand out like that though. So
no, not unless you were buying crack. But yeah.
But I love the difference in the first one and the second one. When they do it in the second one, they Steven Tyler's like, "You're worthy, get up."
But as Goodwill's got a good point though as well, because there's two elements of this movie that was forever around every school ground or like what you used to do with your mates. It was the "I'm not worthy" if you met someone that you haven't seen in a while or just taking the piss out of, and the swing. Like anytime you saw like an attractive person, you were just like swing, swing, swing. I remember doing that at college and thinking I'm so cool, but realizing that I'm such a dick.
I mean, I can vouch for that. Today. I was there.
Imagine doing that today with today's sensibilities.
You'd be
get
punched.
Thrown out.
Imagine walking around SunnyCon doing that.
Imagine Paul at SunnyCon. Hey, you're right. Swing. Please leave.
Get out.
For me, it's the game on and car, because like I still do it now for like people across the road. I've got like car, game on. Like we can walk.
The only thing I still say now is just denied.
Yeah. She shoots. I'd say she because it's when I say it, but he shoots, he scores.
Stay away. Denied.
To stay away, denied.
There's a whole thing on the Stairway to Heaven as well. There's a whole saga about Stairway to Heaven being used as well. There's something kind of fucking nightmare when it comes to rights of stuff. Because if you actually listen on any, I don't know what version it is, it wasn't the theatre run, it was home media, but it was when it first came out. It wasn't actually Stairway he was playing because he wasn't allowed to.
No, Led Zeppelin are renowned for not allowing any of the music to be used in movies, and the only one that they let have, I might be wrong, it might have been some other films, but the only one that comes to my mind was School of Rock, and that was because Jack Black
campaigned so hard at them to allow them to do it. Yeah, and it means like obviously it's why it is now used in so many films because he managed to get the open rights that movies can now use that.
Yeah. But Led Zeppelin is so renowned for either overcharging for using the music or being completely dicks in. You're not using any of our music for anything.
Fender so though. Oh, sorry, Michael. Go on.
It's just so real about guitar stores because there's like 3 or 4 songs. Because if you go into a reputable guitar store, like we used to have one in Middlesbrough, and it was just called Middlesbrough Music, but everyone called it Uncle Tony's because Uncle Tony was just like. Do you remember he was who was it? Cheech or Chong who was in that 70s show?
Chong.
It was Chong.
Chong, yeah, because Cheech Moran was in From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
He looked so much like Chong, but he was like a guitar savant. So like this guitar here, this is 20 years old. This is custom built by Uncle Tony. So it's like
I remember that store so well.
It's a Les Paul classic, but he built it. He custom built it.
That's beautiful.
There was one rule that you could not play any of these 4 songs, and it was a rule that I saw in New York as well. Wonderwall,
agreed.
Sweet Child of Mine,
Yep.
Stairway to Heaven,
I totally get it.
or Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Those were the-
Yeah. Let's just ban that one altogether.
Those were the 4 songs that because like I say, you get a guitar, and you're like, oh, can I try it out? If you played one of those 4, you were banned.
Wow. Guitar shops are so strict.
That's like the running joke. Yeah, it's the running
Guitar
joke in this
in
one.
town, and they're exactly the same. There's like a strict rule on what you're allowed to play when you go in.
And that's why I always laughed when he plays like 2 notes, and the assistant's just like no, and he points to No Stairway to Heaven because it's a real thing in guitar stores.
Well, Fender is it Fender Strata? I can't say it properly.
Fender Stratocaster.
Thank you. They didn't take offense to their guitar being used because they made a whole promotion around this, and all of Wayne's. They celebrated the fact that their guitar was being featured in this movie. But obviously, Led Zeppelin weren't playing the same.
They made a custom Wayne's World guitar.
They did.
That was sold for a short amount of time, and it's like you can still. I think there's still a few floating around second hand. But yeah, there's a point that made it the exact like kind of one that Wayne actually has.
I'd hate to think how much they use it, but Dana Carvey, the drum solo he does, that's all him. That's all him.
Right.
He learned to play the drums when he first took on Garth, because the SNL sketch when Aerosmith are on, he is playing the drums in the background while Steven Tyler is singing the Wayne's World theme song, and he learned it for that moment. So he is playing the drums.
There is one for sale.
Yeah.
There is one for sale, and this must be a fucking pun. Wayne's World Fender Stratocaster, condition excellent. And it's heavily used, £720.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Consider they're like £5 a pop for like a really good one. But holy shit.
Yeah. But the fact that it is excellent.
Yeah. Condition excellent. And I'm just like, I bet it's shit, but they're just doing it for the crack.
But still, that's like, even if it was just the body itself, like you could still do something with it, I guess. I'm not that versed on guitars. That was not my instrument of choice growing up.
You have to send me that link. I'll send it to my partner. Like, would you do anything with that?
It's like, do you love me? Do you love? No, but I there's so many iconic scenes like this. Everything that gets riffed on or like joked on, like literally, so many parodies came out after this movie. Like that came out like but it also doesn't take itself too serious. Well, it can't. It's a comedy, but I love it when it does a little in joke as well. Like the Terminator 2 joke is fucking unbelievable. It's like,
have you seen this boy?
Yes.
So good.
I love that scene so much. That's one of my. I quote that, even though it's not even in Terminator 2. It's not how he says it in Terminator 2. It's how he says it in Wayne's World. Have you seen this boy?
And you just see the reactions on the faces, just well done.
Do you know, that's another thing that Mike Myers wanted out of the movie was the T-1000 coming up to him, but they had to convince him, listen, this is going to be a huge film. This is going to be massive. Hence the reason you got the Jurassic Park reference in the second one, because he learned his lesson and went, yep, let's go with that. Kids love that shit. Oh, gosh. I'm trying to think of other scenes in this.
Chris Farley's scene is amazing. His explanation
we were
of all of his
talking
hand movements.
It's when he does that. Oh, it's so Farley, isn't it? The way he brings it round. I love that, because I couldn't remember. We were talking about this yesterday and earlier on. I generally couldn't remember. I knew Meatloaf was in it, but I could quite easily hear Chris Farley saying "Shitty Beatles."
Yeah.
So I was very confused because I hadn't seen it for some time. And then I was like, oh no. And then when Farley came on, I was like, oh God, yes, he's a security guard. But he's a whole different person in the second one.
Yeah.
Whole different character. But I love the time they give him in the second one.
I love the in-joke about it as well in the first one, because obviously after he's given the information, say, it's weird, that guy knows as much as he knows. And then when it comes around, it's like, isn't it handy we were there at the right time to talk to that one security guard?
Oh, is that the same scene where they go through the staff only door?
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I've already wanted to open the door to see some armed men training.
What are you going to do with them, Wayne?
So no,
I don't know.
but,
Oh, God.
and this was one that, like, I know it wasn't really a twist ending, but it was kind of like always leading you down the wrong path. Like, we didn't think we were going to get the happy ending that we were going to get, and I didn't expect it as like when I first saw it. What about you? Did it take you off guard that they were going to get like the Scooby-Doo ending or the different types of endings throughout this movie?
Because they reference it as a movie throughout. You are watching a movie. Did you know you're watching a movie? Because you are watching a movie. I wasn't that taken aback when we come to the three endings, but how banging did bloody Cassandra look in that bit? Oh my God. My God. I don't want to eat for a month after that. She looks amazing.
We also got to see Rob Lowe walking because he's just been fingered by a cop 3 times.
Yes.
Oh, I love the fact that they show that every time. They don't have to because they could cut, but they show that every single time. I love it. I wouldn't get away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
Oh, you can't beat a good Scooby-Doo ending though. Like that was just so so fitting. But when
you first watch it though, and he's just like everything just starts to crumble. He's just like, "Go to Cassandra, you haven't got it," and then his ex goes like, "Wait, I'm pregnant."
And just everything, he just stands there going in a deep set. What got me though, and I thought about this today, and I was like, you need to take your head out of like a logical place because this is just not illogical at all. If she was that shit, he wouldn't have turned up at all.
No.
So I love that's like the whole joke about even when he goes at the maniacal, like laughing in the fire, and then when he's carrying, and all of a sudden it's the apocalypse for some reason.
It's like Army of Darkness ending. It's like, no, the world has ended. But I think that's when I realised that that's not the ending we were going to get. When I started seeing that, like, Wayne carrying Garth out of a burden building and the world that was in rubble, I was like, okay, this is getting a bit intense. But then it was just like yeah,
as well as Rob Lowe, when he turns to the camera, it's like, you didn't really think he was going to win, did you?
Wink, wink,
oh,
nudge,
God
nudge.
God bless Rob Lowe for being such a good sport, because Rob Lowe has such a reputation, and it's not a good one either. Especially with young ladies. So for him to be this like uber creep was very much it was almost like poking fun at Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Actually who he is. Or who he was, because Rob Lowe is Rob Lowe in 80s Rob Lowe to Rob Lowe now, very night and day. Very night and day. He will always be the guy from Parks and Rec who just screams. So I can't remember what Anne Perkins.
Literally night and day.
Night and day. Night and day. So he's a good sport for being, playing across the uber creep, because he is uber creepy.
Oh, he does smile me without even trying though. That's the thing. But
he was that good at it. It was real life.
The only thing as well that made us like cry laughing, and we've not even mentioned, is when they go to the roof and Wayne and Cassandra's getting to know each other, and then Stacey's pulls a bloke to try and make Wayne jealous, and she gets that intense that she smashes them through a window, and what should have killed him, and she's just like pops up like her, and the guy gets up and just pats her on the head and walks away.
Yeah, but while that's all going on, Cassandra and Wayne are having a very lovely conversation in Cantonese.
Yes.
Do you know how well that went down with audiences?
No.
That they actually brought in a different language into a comedy movie.
All
People
right.
were, and the fact that they use, for all that Cassandra is Hawaiian, Tira's Hawaiian, she does come from Asian background, Asian background, and they love the fact that even she said herself, if they didn't include that scene, Cassandra could have been any other white woman.
Yeah.
And they didn't go down that route. They used someone of color, and it went down so well. with
All right.
audiences that they included that scene. It's very important to a lot of people that that scene is there and that they used the actual dialogue as well.
I think as well, like, when Paul was saying, it's like, how did Wayne like pull her? But I think that's supposed to be the fact that he put in so much effort just to learn like how to speak with her. That level of respect of like, you see Rob Lowe doing it later on, where it just comes off as really like cringy when he does it.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. It's not the same effect.
Or to some common young boy.
Cream and some young guy.
Cream and some young guy.
It's one of the best lines, but
we've broken goodwill.
It's one of the most controversial lines in Wayne's World, and there was no way that they were letting that one go. They wanted it in. Can't believe I've just said it on here.
I was eating an apple when that came on, and I'm just like,
it's just the laughing behind, like Garth laughing behind, like stamping his feet. It's so funny.
I loved. I mean, again, I love Garth, but when they're in the music store, when he's about to buy the Strat, when Wayne's about to buy the Strat, and you see Garth on the drums, that's actual playing.
Yeah. I was just saying earlier, that's well, you were looking for the guitar. That's Dana Carvey playing. He learned it for when Aerosmith were on their show.
I like to play.
I love that line.
Oh, can someone chip in and buy Goodwill the Garth wig? I just want to see him in the wig now.
I think you would pull a good Garth off, actually. Yes.
So Sammy can do Wayne.
I genuinely thought you were going to have a check shirt on tonight.
Right.
I really thought that's where he was going.
To be fair, though, it's one of those nights where the less clothes you wear, the better we're going to be.
I'm starting. But the sun's gone now. I'm starting to cool down a bit.
Oh, there you go. There he goes.
There he goes.
Party on Goodwill Garth or Garth Will.
Garth Will. Party on Garth Will.
Oh, he's went quiet.
I say it in the loosest term because I'm not really sure if Paul was a friend with him, but I did have a friend growing up in my college years who was Garth reincarnated.
Dear me.
Remember Gilly?
Yes, I remember Gilly. Yes. I gave him a Thundercats videotape and he became my best friend for life, but Gilly
was Garth.
With a very receding long hair. It was one of those where he was like, please shave your head. Don't keep trying.
He was a guitar genius. He was one of those ones who could just listen to a bit of music and play it. He was that good. But he was so and he was so quirky and had this like long blonde hair that was receding. Always wore like a check shirt and baggy jeans, and he was Garth reunited.
Little mini Mosher.
He was a little Gilly Manny's class.
I know we got, as I said, with the sequel, which we will talk about another time because I'm excited to do that one. But do you think in today's climate or today's thing, I think it would work as if we get like say Wayne's World 3 now, if they leave the public access station to one side. And they joined the world of YouTube or blogging and stuff. I think that would be a really interesting idea.
It would be interesting to see how Wayne and Garth, are they actually still doing the same thing? Because, they're at an age, even in Wayne's World too, and would they be able to handle, these people who are, so used to a certain way? Are they able to handle now? Are they able to handle the likes of YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that?
Would it not just be like Bill and Ted?
So I was going to say, when they try to bring Bill and Ted back, they were the competing movies of each other as well. You were either a Wayne's World fan or you were a Bill and Ted fan.
Oh, Wayne's World, 100%.
Two competing sort of movies. I was always a Wayne's World.
Yeah.
I think trying to bring it back now, the one thing that it'd kind of be a killer in it, because this is so centered around music. Music industry is nothing like that anymore. You don't go to clubs to watch the local band play. You pay them almost 600 quid to watch two remaining members of one band, Pantera.
Or £300 for download now, which is just crazy. But
what?
But that's the one disappointing thing because the music scene is not the same.
It's not the same. It's not.
No.
There's a little killer to me when I watch the movie of when you see the gasworks and just like, I'm never
Oh.
gonna go to a bar like that ever again because they just don't exist anymore. Even the
No.
rock bars, it's at best you're getting a tribute band of like 4 dads.
But see,
playing the hit.
to me, that would be hilarious. Like having them still trying to relive that youth. Like I know the sad thing is with Bill and Ted, that kind of failed not because of the matter, but it's like them doing Bill and Ted now is different. But Wayne and Garth still trying to be like talk about music or what they're passionate about on like a platform like this, or even like go to the extremes where they got big like Mr. Beast style. Like Goodwill's thing, but I just think like that one's got a bit more legs to say than Bill and Ted. Because let's be honest, I don't know where they could have went after Bogus Journey with Bill and Ted, but they tried. It just wasn't like say never going to hit the same jokes. Well, this one, because as you said, it's because the music scene has changed so much. I think it will work because it wouldn't just be the old hat. Because if you think about Wayne's World, is just basically them trying to get the show out. Wayne's World 2 is to try and get Wayne stock. Wayne's World 3 could have been like say try and reinvent themselves for a modern audience on YouTube or like say on these type of platforms.
Wayne's World 3 could be them starting.
That. I just think it is so defining, like how heavy these guys, like the biggest music fans, like both films feature like where they're just absolutely besotted by getting close to their heroes, and none of these bands really. There's like a very limited amount that are still even together at this point, or I think anyone even wants to see on screen anymore. It's not really going to work with your modern bands of like.
No.
Wayne's World 3.
It'd be interesting, I guess, but yeah, it's just a funny one.
Sorry. Go on, Michael. Go and say it. Boom, Michael. It's okay.
Wayne's World 3, and I've made a joke about this earlier on, it could literally parody us.
Yeah.
Where they... I mean, I would probably say our generations are the last ones that had, like, the good rock nights, the good places to go on a Thursday and a Friday night. You don't get that anymore.
That's your Friday night. It was every night apart from Sunday.
I know, but Middlesbrough had like defining taste because we had chavs. But you don't get those bands anymore. You don't get those great shows anymore. And it's sort of like Wayne's World could parody that, where the middle-aged and they're trying to reclaim their youth, and like their son or their whatever could be like, oh, why don't you just start a Facebook group and meet like-minded people, and then they could like start the Wayne's World community, and then they start a YouTube channel reclaiming their youth. They're like, how awesome was Alice Cooper? How awesome was it? Blah blah blah. And then they build it from there. And I'm just like, every moment I was watching Wayne's World, I was like, this is us 30 years ago.
And we're still there.
But I have to think, right, if we were the same age we are now, like, but like if we were their age 30 years ago, we wanted to do something, we would have totally done that. We would have gone to like a local access station and like we would have talked random shit on a like local channel talking about whatever we love and stuff like that. And I just think if they do Wayne's World now, they would parody us so much. It's like unsettling because we are sort of the Wayne's World of a digital generation.
Yeah, and that's
kind
of
like a good way of putting it.
Because I know, like say with my film ideas, like they're going to make us billions one day. Like say, like Ian, I still want to make the Nicolas Cage universe. Get back to us. He looks so uncomfortable with that pitch, that idea, bless him.
Because it was so out of nowhere.
But as Jess said, with these bands and stuff, not many people like either like want to pay the cinema or they split up. What happens if the bands are wanting to get in touch with Wayne and Garth to try and relive their youth type thing? So you can flip it on there that way. So in one of these films, I know a lot of people say, "Don't touch the classics. Don't try and take." I genuinely do believe there's so many different possibilities of things that this is one where a franchise still has a lot of legs.
Yeah.
Well, it still has a fan base for now. we're still here. So we still would be interested in seeing it.
Well, to be fair, as Jess said, she was 1 when this came out, so
don't need to bring that up again. Can you stop? And to look at Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, I watched the Josh Gad Reunited Apart, and that was only a couple of years ago. They look no fucking different. They're still, and also I watched the SNL 40-year anniversary, which was a few years ago, and they came back as Wayne and Garth to do that. And again, they can still pull it off. They're not, it doesn't look like, oh shit, there's two older men trying to reclaim their youth. It's like, oh no, there's Wayne and Garth. It was, and Dana Carvey has not aged a fucking day. He still looks exactly the same.
Paramount Pictures, whilst you're not busy crashing every single franchise into the ground because you don't know what you're doing, hit us up and we will do Wayne's World 3 as consultants.
See, we've got a way in. Like I say, we're getting movie screeners now, so I might email them and say, oh, we've got ideas here.
Also, while you're at it, Paramount, release some merch. Why don't you?
But that's the thing. I don't know if it's a Paramount thing, because that's one of the things I wanted to get into regarding Wayne's World and like the marketing and the things that came out afterwards. There's very little stuff you can actually get with Wayne's World. Like the T-shirts aren't great. Like I know you can get the baseball hat, the Wayne's World hat, but there's very little like even like steelbooks and stuff. It's very poorly done and like collector's editions.
As a Trekkie, I know just how catastrophically awful Paramount Pictures is when it comes to merchandising. They have zero clue how to do it, and anyone who does merchandise, it's third party or it's licensed, very rarely licensed to a third party. They have loads of IPs, and like I said, with Wayne's World, they could cash in on that, and they don't. They have no clue how to do marketing. Like you said, they could have done a 30-year anniversary steelbook. They could have done loads of merchandise celebrating it. Blah blah blah. Where they don't know. You go to Paramount Studios and they have this like, oh, visit the Paramount store to get merchandise, and it's like, do you like Top Gun? Not really. Oh, because that's all we've got, and that's it. And it's like they don't. Whereas other friends like Warner Brothers, Universal, everything like that, you could get like how many Back to the Future license plate bottle openers, key rings, and everything like that. Whereas this is just like, you can have a hat, and that's it.
I do think if this was produced by a different company like Warner Brothers, it does feel like a Warner Brothers movie as well. This would have been a lot, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask as well. Where do you stand this against other movies of its ilk? Like as you said, like the Back to the Futures. Like even to go as far as the Goonies and stuff like that. Where would you stand? Like say Wayne's World.
It's no Goonies, Paul. It's no Goonies.
But to be fair, there's only certain films that can live to that high standard. But yes,
I think to play devil's advocate, yes, Paramount are shit at distribution and marketing, but this has sort of benefited it because it became a cult hit.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you go mass merchandise and distribution, or do you keep it like low key and then it just becomes one of those things that like is instantly quotable, but there's like nothing but a hat? Do you know what I mean? Like what do you do? But I think it deserved more recognition at the time, but I think over time, in the 10-20 years, it gained that cult following. And like I said, with the 30th anniversary, obviously everyone was like reminiscing, because it was a time that we will never get again, and it's a time that our generation will never get again. And it's sort of like, you know, you think about that time, and it's like, yeah, we had like Alice Cooper and Meatloaf and like mega popular guitar stores and stuff like that. And you just don't get that. Music is not the same as it was back then. And
it never will be again.
Yeah. And
I think it's Wayne's World set the precedence though for like so many other movies that have come after it because of what they've done. So when and trying to like go with my head, like you had like Airheads, which is perfect because it's Brendan Fraser, isn't it?
I love Airheads.
Perfect.
But you're in that movie too. Steve Buscemi.
Oh gosh,
Oh, damn you, Chris.
It was just, I just,
oh God.
and it took me ages to see the Steve Buscemi, but then when I saw your comment, you're like, why am I Steve Buscemi?
No, it like then you get to like the Tenacious D movies. So like suddenly became a plethora of movies. Like fans within a movie being fans of the scene, essentially.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely, sparked so many more since.
Yeah, because you probably got like Empire Records after this as well. And as such, I do feel a bit sad because I know me and Sammy were talking about it before. It seems like the comedy movie though is a dying art. Like we don't get many big comedy releases or big like blockbuster like around about the summertime where you get like a plethora of like big CGI movies or the next big Marvel franchise that's getting launched. We don't get like say the little comedies or comedy actors. Like if you think about it in the 80s, you couldn't like go to the cinema without seeing a John Candy movie, a Steve Martin movie, a Eddie Murphy movie. Now it's kind of like, where are all these comedies now? Unless they're going directly to streaming either.
I think
the torch has been passed as time has gone. Like, it's very much for the SNL players and everything. It's gone through phases. Like, so you had your Adam Sandler phase, you had your Ben Stiller, your Seth Rogens and stuff like that. And now it's weird because like Zac Efron seems to be one of these that's doing way more comedies. It's your John Cena and stuff that are pulling out these obscure tongue-in-cheek style comedies. But I think my sort of theory on it is that it's harder now to make a comedy because there's just so much of a danger zone you can get yourself into.
Yeah, but we were saying,
and will people find it funny or find it offensive?
There is, it's a decline in cinema as a whole industry, very much since the pandemic, and there has been a shift in viewership from motion pictures and going to the cinema to just watching it at home, but not just movies. It's been very much it ebbs and flows, and I think it came to like a massive like crescendo towards the mid 90s where you had really good comedy movies, really good comedy shows, and then the movies sort of petered down over 20 years, and then it became like TV was the comedy precedent, and that's where all the comedies were, and now it's sort of there's not that many. If you look at it now, look at the landscape of cinema and TV now and compare it to 2008, where you had all these sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, whatever, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
But,
I know what you mean though.
You had a fair few sitcoms on TV. Name a sitcom currently on the air that is extremely popular as Big Bang Theory right now. Go.
There's none. Probably the reinventing of Frasier. That wasn't as big as, but that's the closest I can think of.
But
but Frasier's such a like.
It's niche, but it's not as big because again, Paramount go, oh, we've got this great show. Yeah, let's just hide it so no one can see it. But then you look at the comedy in cinema. Name me a comedy movie in the last year.
Can it?
All I can think of is Fall Guys. That's like a comedy
action throwback.
Comedy action. Yeah, it's that. And there is no demand for it. Look at stand-up. How many stand-ups are out at the moment?
But most of them's getting cancelled though. That's thing, because as soon as they say something that's like on the cuff, like if Eddie Murphy did his comedy routine now, fucking hell! Like if he did Raw now,
there is an anxiety, and it's not just in America; it's all over. There is an anxiety towards doing the comedies that we saw in the 80s, 90s, and the noughties, because that was when comedy took a risk. That was when you could push the boat. If you did that now and you showed it to a test audience, they're like, oh, I don't know, we can't really say that. Like, imagine, right? And I know we've said it, and we, the audience loved it when it went up. But imagine the Cantonese scene now in Wayne's World, showed to a test audience. They would be outraged because they'll go, well, she's Hawaiian. He said something, and then the subtitles continued. So you are discriminating against that language, and they can't do it because they are like studios are terrified of offending people, so they don't want to push that boat out anymore. And you see it in Family Guy, in American Dad, and The Simpsons. Well, not The Simpsons, because that's not been funny for 20 years. But they are very like, I don't know if we can do this. Do you know what I mean? They're very standoffish. Whereas 20 years ago, they'd be like, fuck it, let's do it.
I was having this conversation the other day, actually, with like loads of like all like kind of the summer shows have just hit. Like everything's been dropping. Like I think everything dropped in 1 week. And literally, like a couple of days after everything had released, all me and my partner saw was just everybody criticizing everything. Everything was getting pulled apart, and we're having a conversation. It's like nobody can just be happy watching anything anymore.
No.
They want to rip it apart and say, "Oh, well, this wasn't good enough. They should have done this. I don't like this new take." The take, and it's like, just enjoy something for once.
But that's why when we started doing the podcast as well, because we said like hand on the heart. This is when me and Sammy first started out. We said we're not going to purposely go out and rip things to shreds or shit on things. We're just like we'll say things off the cuff to wind each other up or joke about stuff as well. But at the same time, we will always try and find the positive because people are making this stuff. It's hard work to do it. There's people that goes in.
Exactly. We're not fucking making films. That was my exact words. We're not fucking making films. We're not making television. So I'm not going to sit there and rip to pieces people who are putting fucking hard work into it just because, there's something I might not like about it.
To be fair, though, that's probably why we haven't blew up on YouTube yet, because we don't do that.
Because we're too fucking nice. Bear in mind, I do have a bit of a rant on my Monster episode tomorrow because of how bad of a movie, but it was more out of frustration. Put it that way. It was frustration.
The thing is, right, think of it this way. The people who get the most views are the people that just absolutely shit on a film. Dozens, hundreds, whatever amount of people work hard on that film. It might be their first film. It might be something they're extremely proud on. And, you know, I would rather be on a YouTube channel that doesn't explode if we are genuine, but we see it from both angles and we don't shit on it, because no one deserves to be like, oh, well, this film was shit because it was poorly lit and the lighting director was an arsehole. And it's just like, you don't be a dick.
Yeah, and look at the state of Star Wars at the minute. And I'm going to keep to the facts here, people. I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about. I'm going to keep to what I know. But
people, please message Sammy to tell her how bad she knows about Star Wars.
Please to fuck don't. I will lose my shit.
That's Sammy with a Y.
But look at the state of the Star Wars community at the moment over the new Acolyte. It is. I have never seen in a long time the toxic playground that has been allowed to take place over one fucking television show. It is horrific to listen to the shit that comes out of these people.
I think,
horrible.
It's like not just Star Wars fans though, because I've never known a fandom as toxic as the Star Wars fandom.
But I think Star Wars at the moment is going through what Star Trek has done for the last 7 years with Discovery, where they have finally fixated on that one show.
Yeah.
And they just absolutely dump all their toxicity, all their hatred into that. And I mean, I will be the first one to say, I have seen all of Discovery. I'm not a big fan of Discovery, but I don't dump on the actors. I don't dump on the people producing it, working on it in the background. Why would you do that? That is their livelihood. That is their hard work. If it's not for me, it's not for me, but I will have a logical reason for it. Not just because there's a woman in it. No.
Yeah.
That is your issue that you don't like it. It's not because it's bad. It's not because it's whatever. That is your issue about that. I have genuine criticisms about what I don't like about Discovery, but it's not like one specific thing, and it's not like because it's a lens flary and she cries. It's no.
But that's the thing.
It's just, that's what the Acolyte's going through, where it's just like
so bad.
Yeah, and it's just like
don't
watch it.
Jane, Sam, and Bob got it so right, though. It's like as soon as the net came out, to give every arsehole an opinion. And so what we need to do is get the names of all these arseholes who have this opinion and beat the living shit out of them, Jay and Silent Bob style.
Jay and Silent Bob, yeah, let's do it. Because honestly, it's TikTok at the moment it's like a breeding ground for them. One starts and the rest of them, oh, he's got his saber out. Fuck.
So I say in the sense of like, it's great to enjoy something, and if you don't, it's easy enough to, like I say, just not watch it, or you don't always have to have an opinion. If you are that bothered that the writing or something is not right in what you see in it, then get out there, get writing.
Yeah.
Go write something better. If you didn't like lighting, go look at working as a lighting person. Actually
get on and do it.
Do something to progress things. Stop whining on the internet and get out there and do something. If you want to see better writing, get writing. Write what you think people should be seeing.
We're not worthy,
Jessica.
We're not worthy. We're
we're not worthy. Wow, fuck yeah. So, that is absolutely right.
So in theory, we all need to start writing Nicolas Cage movies then. So the Nicolas Cage monster movies, we have to make this happen, guys. We can do it.
Movie pitch. Gone in 62 seconds. Bang, let's go.
Oh, look at him. Oh, get Mr. Hollywood on the phone.
If you take up anything like that, I'm not a huge fan of people who get that. I mean, not just movies, just anything in life where people get negative if they see something happening. It's like, if you're that bothered, just get out there and do something yourself.
Exactly. Don't sit there and make Don't sit there and make a fucking TikTok video for views, clouts, and shit over stuff that it just annoys, it infuriates me. I get so angry at it because it's such a. I understand I got some things wrong on that monster episode. I totally appreciate it. Bearing in mind I was really poorly, so fuck yous. But I do love Star Wars. I do have a genuine love for it. Fuck me, like I don't know how anyone could actually listen to half the stuff I say about Star Wars. I love Jar Jar Binks. Like, do you know where I am? Like, but I'm sick of seeing. So every time something comes out on Star Wars, the internet just thinks it's their place to just shit all over it straight away, and not for the right reasons.
When they should be shitting on the Lord of the Rings. Let's all start this out.
But it's not even for the right reasons. It's not even like they've watched it and went critically, oh, that's not that good. I would have preferred if we'd done something better. Didn't like how the character direction, didn't like how the writing went, blah blah blah. It's not. They're jumping on shit that is just, I don't want to say it because I don't want to give it any more credit, like any more than it needs to be, but it is, they jump on the worst things. I get really angry. I can feel my blood boiling over it.
But that's the thing, though. It's
Question?
What's a Nubian?
I'm not going to go with that one. Yes. Chase Navy episode coming soon. But yes.
Fucking not.
I'll do Chase Navy. But yeah. So you're just telling me that? No, I'm not going to say the line.
Hashtag cancel Paul just popped up.
Already, it's already happened. But yes. So
we're going
to rate the film out of 5. So Goodwill, we'll start with you because it's been a moment. It's been a minute.
I have not been on since the Serenity review.
Yes.
And I'll never be on again.
What? What?
I'm joking.
Did you not kill your wife?
What?
I would rate this. I don't know.
It's just a reference to an episode that he is coming on soon.
I think he's smelling burnt toast.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What?
The
fugitive. God damn it.
The fugitive. You tit.
I
didn't kill my wife.
Where's my wife?
I don't care.
Marianne. Oops, sorry, wrong franchise. I would rate. Can I just turn up in like a leather jacket and a hat and a whip?
I mean,
what you do in your private areas is totally fine.
Just to give us spoilers out there, OnlyFans, right? Rate the film, Goodwill.
Why is it if you kill a man in a heat of battle, it's heroic? But if you kill him in a heat of passion, it's called murder.
Why did they come to me to die? Why did they come to me to die?
This Goodwill is okay. Like, we should come on again. Chris has given you a seal of approval there.
4 out of 5 for me. I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. It is definitely not without its flaws, and obviously the the background to quote a friend, Hollywood bullshit is interesting to read, but it sort of taints it a little bit for me. Because you watch a movie for 20 years, you're like, oh, that's brilliant, and you read it, it's like, oh, he was a bit of a dick. But a solid 4 out of 5. This is one I class this as one of the summer movies where it's a night like this, you've got a cold beverage, and you plop on Wayne's World or Hot Fuzz or RoboCop.
They're great or good.
They're great or good. No, not catching them swans then. But it's one of those where check out.
I don't know nothing.
But it's just one of those summer movies that you can just plop your beautifully toned buttocks down on the sofa, have a bevy, and just watch it, and you feel good about yourself, and it just reminds you of a time when music was decent.
Yeah, bravo.
What about you, Jess?
Really kind of the same sort of takeaway. Like, I'd have to give it a 4. I think because obviously I adore Delby so much as like a proper hero, and like that it does mar it a little bit for me of like not getting the respect and stuff should have got on that movie. But yeah, it is kind of the same thing. Like, I watch it and I'm just like, oh, when things are good.
When life was like, good.
This was my 20s, like going to the bars and stuff. So no idea, I get that bit of nostalgia, and then just probably sit there in depression afterwards. I'm like, I'm never going to go to a bar that good again.
I love this movie.
What about you, lovely Sammy?
Oh, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here. Mine is a 3 out of 5.
Oh.
3 out of 5. I have absolutely loved over the last 24 hours getting to know this movie inside and out, and I'm very sorry for all the facts they are literally just crammed into my head. I had nothing written down, so I had to get them out somehow, but I have literally spent the last 24 hours just thoroughly going over this film. But I watched them back to back, and I instantly forgot the first one as soon as the second one came on. Because I have the second one for me is the far more superior out of the two.
It has Dale in though, so yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I killed a man with his own shoes.
The bloody great big Bengal tiger.
But yes, I am pure nostalgia with this one. I've got no bad memories, and if Sam hadn't told us about the shitty stuff that went on in the background,
I'm very sorry to ruin it for you.
It's not ruin it. It's evolving and enlightening and making things more interesting. But yeah, as a pure nostalgia, I always do my ratings on what would I change from this movie, and there's nothing I would change, so it has to be a 5.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, just as physically nothing I would go through and say I would take this out or I would want less of this. I just thoroughly love the performances. I love the quirks. I love the jokes. I love the in-jokes. I like it how it's like a parody where it doesn't cross the line where it goes to almost like the Naked Gun style parody. It's still not to that level. It's not
spoof.
Yeah. When we go into talk about the second one at some point, that one at times does delve into the Naked Gun style parody at times, which isn't a bad thing. But I love this one because it's almost dipped, and I'm talking about a little toe dipped in realism.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So yes, so that is our Wayne's World talk. So party on. I wish I had the foresight or the time to create the graphic Wayne's World going across the screen. That would have been
party time. Excellent.
I feel like I've disappointed myself now a little bit, but yes. So Sammy, what's coming up tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow. Oh yeah, I don't remember. Tomorrow, you are all invited to prom night. We are doing prom night. We are doing the original, and it's not a remake. couldn't even dare call it a reboot. It just is a movie that has the same name and has a prom in it.
Right.
And if you want to hear one of my most epic rants about a movie, come and join us at 8 o'clock tomorrow on YouTube, where we will be.
The Tube of Youb. So yes, so that's Monsters Up North tomorrow with the lovely Sammy and the delectable Dan. The ladies.
What are you
of...
laughing at?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh, okay. Something tickled Goodwill.
But yes, and the lovely ladies of horror will be with us tomorrow. Goodwill, what are you doing on Friday?
What's Friday, Goodwill?
I genuinely thought you said Tube of Lube. Join us on Lube Tube this Friday.
To be fair, if you type in Tube Lube, there will probably is a different...
on in. Oh, behave.
Slide on into Lube Tube this Friday.
Oh my god, I need to start a latex channel and call it that. It would be perfect.
You know, Jess, this has already been taken because I've just bought the domain. It's a special one this Friday. I am very excited for two things. One, we're actually live. And two, we are reviewing one of my most favourite Star Trek movies of all time because of how fucking serious it is and the subject material it is based on. We are reviewing Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, which was a huge, thinly veiled representation of the Cold War.
Oh my gosh, how interesting.
It is what I would say after First Contact, this is my favorite Star Trek movie of all time. It is so good. This is how the other five, bar two, should have been. Brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted, cinematography on just everything. It is just so good. I implore anyone, even just to get the DVD and just watch it, because this is Star Trek at its very best in the cinema. And when the anniversary of this comes up in like 2031, I am going to be watching. I'm going to be there.
He's going to be right there.
I know they just had Search for Spock on the cinema, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes, because it was the 40th anniversary of Search for Spock. So when it's the
oh my god, I'm older than that movie.
When it's the 40th anniversary of when it's the 40th anniversary, I will be there. But we have a special guest donning the monster maroon, David Jones.
Oh yes,
as we mentioned earlier, background actor from Strange New Worlds and The Boys season 4. He will be donning the monster maroon and suffering the heat.
He is very supportive of monsters.
Yes.
He is just a wonderful human being.
To be fair, he's very attractive as well. He's a quite beautiful man.
That's not gone unnoticed. But he is very supportive of monsters, and I appreciate him hugely.
He's incredibly stunning, but he will melt because we are both going to wear monster maroon uniforms on Friday in this heat with these lights. So I have to lose weight somehow, and if I have to just absorb it into the chair, I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna check this episode out. It's getting more interesting the more he keeps talking.
It is going to be. If you saw our review of True Q and Conundrum over the last couple of weeks, where we have deep dived into law and real world politics, because we never talk about real world politics on Trekking Up North at all.
Not at all.
This is the mother of all political statements. And this came out in 1991. So if you're a history buff...
How old were you, Jessica?
I was born in 91.
He was a fetus!
My gosh.
But, I was already at college. But it's...
I'm that old.
I'm that old, baby!
Was that thrown out of college at that time? No, sorry.
No, not yet. Not quite. Not yet. Not quite.
This was a massive allegory for the Cold War. So me, Sonoys, and David will really get into this because this is probably one of the most perfect Star Trek movies you will ever see. And if you've never seen it before, you don't even have to watch the other five. You can jump straight into this because everything is explained, blah, 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 blah. But There will most likely be a lot of promotions for what's happening at the weekend in this episode as well.
Oh,
Yes,
well.
because that was the one thing I was going to mention as well. There's going to be some kind of nerdy quiz on with drag queens and stuff, which will be fun. We are hosting it at Geek Retreat in Sunderland. The nerds will be there. Some not so nerdy people and some very nerdy people. So you can win special prizes, and we do have a special prize for for the person who wins the quiz. So yes, it starts at 5 o'clock, is that right?
It starts at 5, finishes at
8 p.m. I think it is.
Yes.
I have had messages from people from Ireland wanting to come over to join this quiz.
You don't.
No.
We love to have yous, but you don't want to come over here.
To Sunderland.
No, thank you.
We
Please.
got B&M.
Do we?
Yes. So
Do we?
I believe it's £2 a head entry for the quiz.
Yeah.
And we will be going for a few drinks afterwards, depending if we're like you or not.
Exactly. Exactly. But please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode from anyone on the Nerdy Up North platform. Also, all the audio for what?
I was going to say, Goodwill hasn't seen the video.
What video?
What video?
Oh my gosh, the video. Hold on. All audio for every episode that we've done over the last week will be available this Tuesday. Paul, play the video.
Yes.
Oh!
Just Goodwill doesn't have the audio though. That's the only
You
thing.
don't.
Why
But
do
you
we
get to
need
see
to
the
push
face.
that thumbs up button anyway?
So many times.
Get to see it again.
Pravit, put your hand on that wall.
Oh.
That's the background I've done for Jess. Sorry.
It was just a stress.
You will hit that like button,
Oh, is this
or
such a
I
beautiful
will
man, isn't
disable
he?
your hand.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes.
How he's still alive, man,
Yeah.
after the shenanigans he's been pulling on his poor partner.
Yes.
I don't know.
Justice for Bex.
I sent him a message this week, and I just said I am so proud of you because you are just getting more and more unhinged as the weeks go on.
I'm
But
actually
please,
a little bit
please
scared.
leave Bex alone.
Yeah, I'm a little bit scared. That's the thing. It does terrify me. I do think we're going to either be on, like, say, in court
Crime
one day
watch.
and say, so trying to testify as character witnesses for a lot of different things. But yeah, but we do love you, Lee. So thank you.
Don't go Tom Green. Don't do a Tom Green.
Yes.
Can you
We'll be
remember
drinking
that?
our cow orders going, do you like me yet? Please, can I stop this?
Can you remember that episode of Space where Tyres goes, "Oh, I saw Mike on Crime Watch the other night," and he's like, "For what?" And he was, he mentioned what it was, and then he went, "Oh yeah, that's him." And it's like, that's gonna be Lee one day.
Do you think Mike is Lee, but Tyres is Chris? Because I could see Chris at a fucking
Yes.
traffic light just doing this.
Dun, dun, dun. I feel like there's a mixture between Mike and Tyres as Lee and
Myers.
Chris. Myers.
But yes. And next Sunday we will be back. Sorry, Jessica, have you got anything you would like to promote? I like to always ask just in case.
No, it's I'll be there next weekend. That's
Yes.
as far as heads I am in life.
That's right. And yes, and next Sunday's episode, we have decided to kick off the summer with. We're going to do a month of blockbusters. So we
Summer blockbusters.
Oh, got the feet out now.
Summer, baby!
But yes, we are doing the Jurassic Park franchise. So
Jurassic Park. It's a park.
So we'll be talking dinos and shit. But yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
Welcome to Executive Bathroom Island.
We need to end this episode. I'm gonna wet myself.
Yes. We need to do the Scooby-Doo ending now. So yes, so that's going to be happening, and we will have a few announcements coming soon about like future episodes. As we said, there is going to be a few changes, a few things that we've had planned are no longer. So if you're planning on being on future episodes, Sorry.
Sorry, we're changing it up, baby, and we're heading into the blockbuster summer blockbuster.
But yes, so same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.